Hello my beautiful ducks and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're back in The Sims 4 and I am building this family suburban home in the Evergreen Harbour neighbourhood, which came with the Eco Lifestyle expansion pack. So I haven't built in this world in a really long time and I felt like it was something that I should do. So I really enjoy building family orientated homes. I really enjoy the really cluttered and homely kind of aesthetic, and I felt like this world was perfect for me to build something like that because this neighborhood is quite a family orientated look. I feel like it's got a really family feel about it, and all the homes are suburban, and this neighborhood kind of reminds me of Toy Story for some reason, and I don't even know why, but I think it's just the shape of the houses. They really remind me of Andy's house from Toy Story. So I really wanted to build in this world and sort of recreate that really family suburban home, and this build has 3 bedrooms and 1.5 baths, and it's perfect for your kind of growing family. Now, when I was building this home, I had the kind of storyline in my head where this house is perfect for either a couple of adult Sims and perhaps their toddler and child Sims. However, I did put a nursery in this build. I did that in one of my recent videos as well, so I really wanted to create this home as a kind of generational style house. So no matter what kind of Sims you're playing with, whether that's single Sims who want to grow a family or a group of Sims that are already established as a family, I really wanted you to have the opportunity to add to that family if you wanted to, or just have an extra room which you could change up and do with however you wanted. So this build does have a nursery, a bedroom which is suitable for a child and a toddler, and then the master bedroom which you could fit 2 Sims. Of course, if you wanted to play with this house in your game and have a single parent, then that's completely fine. There is a double bed for the master room, so you can have whoever you want living in this home as a caregiver. So I try to, when I build homes, have some kind of storyline in my head. It makes it more fun for me. I don't always build like that, but I've definitely been trying to do that a lot more recently now that I'm sharing my builds on the gallery and here on YouTube, just so that people who have a specific style of play, that they can check out my build and think that's perfect for the family I want to play with, or maybe it'll give you some ideas if you're a little stuck for how you want to play the game. I know for a while I was really struggling with gameplay and like really finding it difficult to come up with a good storyline or a specific set of Sims, so I feel like building these homes with somewhat of a storyline in mind makes it a lot more fun for me building, and also makes it easier for you guys to be able to find my content and use it as you see fit. So we are in the interior of this build at the moment. I've already worked out the floor plan. I'm just going around and adding some more windows and stuff to the upstairs. So I decided to work on some of the outside, and then I kind of got a bit stuck, so I thought, well, rather than just sitting here and staring at the screen, let me go inside and start working on the interior furnishing of this house. So you'll see that downstairs there is a small bathroom. There's also an open plan living room and dining room area, and then a large kitchen for your Sims to be able to create all of their meals. And I really struggled with the downstairs layout at first. I really wasn't sure how I was going to fit the living room and the dining room in that space. I feel like it's a really big space, but when it came to actually putting everything together, I kind of felt like I didn't have enough space for both rooms. So you'll see here that I have pushed up the table against the wall that's there by the kitchen, and strangely enough, I know it looks like it's all squished up, but it works absolutely fine. I did move in a family of Sims into this house when I was playtesting it, and they could reach every single chair. There was no problem with the routing. So like I said, if you do want to go ahead and put this build in your game, you'll have no problem with routing issues. All of your Sims will be able to use all of the objects in this build. That's including upstairs, the bathrooms, the dining room chairs, living room, everything works absolutely fine, so that's just something to not have to worry about. So I am using the counters that came with the new expansion pack and mixing them up with the ones that came with the Dream Home Decorator kit. So one of my inspirations for starting a YouTube channel is Beautiful Plum Blobs, aka Rachel Ped. She is here on YouTube, so please do check her channel out. Her videos are absolutely adorable. All of her builds are family friendly, which I absolutely love. But she has this habit of combining cabinets and counters from different packs and different colors, and I have always kind of felt a bit strange doing that. I feel like you always have to have a matching cabinet to a counter, but she kind of throws that rule out the window and absolutely smashes it while she's doing it, because her kitchens are so colourful, so perfect. And so I wanted to take a leaf out of her book and try and combine the cabinets for this build, and they're not exactly super colourful, but they do work together quite well. I really like how the counters in the kitchen come across quite rustic and old-fashioned, but then the cabinets on the wall are a lot more modern, and it kind of gave me this feeling that maybe the Sims that live here have renovated the kitchen somewhat and they've put the cabinet space in there themselves just to sort of add a bit more storage to the room. Anyway, I just was playing around with that idea and I really liked how it came out. So we're just in the living room, and I jumped around a lot in this build, and I think that's because I wasn't entirely sure where I was going with this build. I knew that I wanted to create something that was perfect for family and generational gameplay, but how I wanted it to look, I really struggled, and that's happened a lot when I'm building. It's usually not until towards the end where I've kind of got a style or a vibe or, you know, this perfect aesthetic down, you know. So I was just sort of throwing in objects here and there willy-nilly, and I was actually quite pleased with how his living room turned out. It's quite cozy, and it's the first time that I've used the sectional sofas. So I did use them in that cream swatch, and I feel like it matches the living room perfectly. I used a lot of white furniture downstairs, and then upstairs there's a lot of dark furniture. So my idea was that maybe the Sims that live here have like slowly started to group their furniture together. So maybe when they first moved in they had a lot of one type of furniture, and then as time goes by they've upgraded or changed or whatever, and now they've got a whole new different style of furniture, and it's a kind of a mismatch sort of house, and I like that vibe. I think it's quite realistic. So we do bounce around a lot between the outside and the inside in this build, and so at the moment we have gone back outside because I think I probably had a bit of a moment where I was like, well, I'm not getting anywhere in the inside. I run out of ideas, so let's go outside and see if I can get something to work while my creative juices start flowing again. So I put down some bushes, all from the debug menu, because I just love how they look. I really love the green lushness of the plants. I just feel like they look a bit more realistic than the ones that you get in the usual catalogue. So there isn't really a lot to the landscaping. I try to keep it quite natural, and I wanted it to blend in with the world because I am building in Evergreen Harbour when it still has the neutral footprint. So you'll see that the neighbourhood's still a bit dirty, still a bit messy, still a bit like not particularly eco-friendly. So I did try to match the outside of this house to the neighborhood as much as possible, and in the end I really like how it turned out. So now we've gone back inside the build and I'm in the kitchen. So usually I really like to place down all of the objects that I plan on using for the kitchen. It helps me to visualize how I'm gonna clutter up each of the counters, what kind of objects I want to use, and also it's a lot easier to find things once I've pulled them all out of the menu. If I don't do this, I can usually spend, you know, a matter of 10-15 minutes trying to find certain objects, and it just becomes quite tedious, especially when I'm recording footage for YouTube. I feel like no one wants to see me scrolling through the menu for 20 minutes trying to find, you know, a bowl or a specific kettle or a specific object. So I have started to pull out each of the objects that I want to use and place them down first, just so that I can visualize in my head how I'm going to use everything. So I did clutter up this cabinet here with loads of glasses and plates which came in the debug menu. Now they will spoil if you do put this in your game, so a heads up for that. However, it's pretty simple to replace them, or you can just get rid of them altogether and put something else up there. It's entirely up to you. I just really like doing this because it adds a bit more realism to my kitchens, and when I'm playing with builds that have a lot of debug objects like these glasses in them, I don't usually have a problem with just replacing them if they go a bit smelly, but sometimes I found that some of the objects don't spoil, so it's really hard to kind of figure out which objects do spoil and which don't. So for example, the chopping board that I've put down in the corner there, that one is the one that came with Outdoor Retreat, and for some reason it doesn't seem to spoil. So I always tend to use that one in these builds. So that's a little tip for you if you want to go ahead and use the same idea as me when you're furnishing your kitchens. If you use that chopping board that came with Outdoor Retreat, it shouldn't spoil. I'm not saying that it won't spoil, but I haven't noticed that it doesn't spoil. So you can take that tip and see if it works for you. I know the game can be really weird about certain things. For example, my Sims have the option to scoot over in the bedroom if the bed is placed up against the wall. However, I know for a fact that watching Miss Sim Reno's videos, that when she's tried doing that in the past, it doesn't work. So it's very strange how some things will work in some people's games and other things won't work in other people's games. So anyway, we are just finishing up the kitchen. I put a lovely big picture of bacon and pancakes, and I also put up the notice board which came with the City Living expansion pack. I really like that billboard, and I felt like it worked perfectly in this house to really kind of give it a family orientated feel, like your Sims would put up on that board all the chores and tasks the kids have to do that day. I know there is a bulletin board that came with the Parenthood pack, but I kind of feel like that's a bit weird. I don't know, like I've never really used it, so I've always gone for that billboard that came with the City Apartments pack. I don't know. If you want to take that out and change it into the billboard, then you're more than welcome to do so. So we have gone upstairs and I am starting in the master bedroom. So this bedroom came together quite quickly actually, because I kind of had an idea of what I wanted it to look like. I wanted it to be quite cluttered, and I really wanted it to feel cozy and homely, so I put down this vanity table which I think is base game, and then I just cluttered it up with loads of makeup and bits and bobs from the debug menu that just make it feel like your Sims are actually using it. And I love the handbag that came with Cottage Living. It's Agnes Crumplebottom's handbag, and I love that that's now an object in the debug menu, and I plan on using that in every build going forward. I just think it's so cool. It's the same with the shoes that came with the Home Dream Decorator pack. I love the little shoes that you get, and I actually use them in the children's bedroom, you'll see a bit later on, but I sized them down so it looked like they were children's shoes instead of adult shoes, and I just love that detail. I think it's so cute, and I feel like we need more things like that. Like I would love to see them put in an umbrella to this game, you know, like one that stands up and leans against the wall, or one you can place on the floor and then you can just rotate it with tool mod or something like that. I would love to see that introduced in the game. But we are now working on the nursery, and I try to keep this very gender neutral. There's a lot of lovely white wood textures, and I went for a very sort of, yeah, just a neutral color scheme, lots of browns with the wallpapers, and then obviously the white furniture, so you could have a boy or a girl in this room, and I just cluttered up the side here with some debug objects, so toys and milk bottles and diapers and all that kind of fun stuff, just to give it a bit more realism. And I used that painting. I have no idea where that came from, whether it's base game or with the pack, I'm not really sure, but I love that it's a bear and her cub. I just think it's so cute and it worked perfectly in this room. And I also used the bookcase that's there from the Dream Home Decorator pack as well. So this room kind of combines as a nursery and a kind of reading nook, so I did really like that idea. If you decide to put this build into your game and you want to take out that toddler, that nursery, and put in a desk and a computer and turn it into an office, then you're more than welcome to. But now we are just working on the children's room. So I used the bunk bed again. I said this in a previous build, but I know we've had bunk beds for forever, but I haven't really had much of a chance to play with them. So I feel like I'm going a bit overboard now using them in all of my builds. I kind of feel like I'm making up for lost time or something, but it worked perfectly in this room. And this room is kind of a mashup of all different colors and styles. I really wasn't sure which direction to go in terms of decorating this room. I kind of wanted it to feel really cluttered, really messy, really realistic of a child's room. So I kind of went, I don't know, I really struggled to find a rug that suited this room, and in the end I decided to go for one which came with the Parenthood pack, I think it is, I'm not entirely sure, but I really like how it turned out in the end. It's super colourful, super fun. Of course, if you do again want to play in this house with a specific family and the Sims that you're playing with have more of a style or, you know, a vibe, then feel free to decorate that room in however way that you want to. So we're back outside now, and I'm just working again on some more landscaping and putting down a barbecue area and a bench. So I wanted this to feel like the family that live here maybe found that bench or picked it up in some kind of, you know, flea market or something. I wanted it to feel really rustic and really like run down, because like I said, I am building this in the neutral eco footprint, and so I really wanted it to blend in well with the current landscape. I do plan on releasing a build soon in the same neighborhood, but perhaps in the green eco footprint, so that I can create a house that's more in line with that. I haven't actually got to that part in my gameplay yet, so I'm pretty excited to see how that looks. But I'm going to leave this voiceover here. I'm just working on some terrain painting now and trying to blend it in with the outside of the lot. But basically, I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give the video a thumbs up. It helps me out immensely to know that you're enjoying my content. If you like this video, please consider subscribing, and I will see you next time. Bye!